السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, welcome to the class. Last week we covered, let me just give you a quick recap where we are. Last week we covered Ghunna, I believe. So we're basically continuing through the Tajweed book, starting from the Makharij al-Huruf. We took some of the rules for Tajweed, and sorry, I'm just going scrolling up and down the pages here. So we took Ahkam an-Nun as-Sakina wa Tanween as the first of the rules. And we had, these four rules: Idhar, Idgham, Iqlab, and Ikhfa. And alhamdulillah, we've been practicing in our classes, and hopefully you guys have been practicing on your own as well, of what those rules are and how to apply them in the class itself. So next we took the Mim Sakina rules, and they had Ikhfa al-Shafawi, Idgham al-Saghir, and Izhar al-Shafawi. And after that we took the Ghunna, which was last week, which was how to, which different types of Ghunnas are there. There is the Ghunna Akmal and Kamila and Naqisa and Anqas, and where they are applicable. And today, so we're going to continue on, and we're going to do Ahkam al-Lam al-Sakina, which is the Lam Sakina rules. And we're coming closer to the end of the first book. So what I'm planning is, after we finish the entire book, the first book, there's 3 of these, right? So there's 3 books for Tajweed. So after we finish the first one, I'm going to do a revision class, and we're going to have a test. How do you guys feel about that? You're going to have a test to, solidify your understanding of the, first book of the rules of Tajweed, rules of Quran Tajweed. Okay, so inshallah we'll do that, when we are ready. Once we have finished all the different rules that are covered in book 1. Okay, so inshallah it'll be exciting. So now, for Ahkam al-Lam al-Sakina, so the plural of Lam is al-Lamat, Lamat. Okay, so it's just the way it's written here in the book. The al-Lamat al-Sakina in the glorious Quran are 5 categories. Okay, there are 5 types of Lam Sakina. Sakina basically means it has no haraka on it, no fatha, kasra, or dhamma, no zabar, zair, pesh, no vowel sound on it. Okay, so that's what Lam Sakina is. The same as when we covered Nun Sakina and Mim Sakina. We're covering Lam Sakina, so because there are some specific rules to that. Lam Ta'rif is the type of the first type of Lam Sakina. So Lam Ta'rif, so the Lam that is used in Al. When you put Al-Kitab and Al-Masjid and Al-Qamar and Ash-Shams and so on. So I don't know if you know anything about that, but it's basically the way that definite nouns are created in, or definite nouns are referred to in Arabic. So you add a alif lam to it, and then it becomes a definite one, something that you actually know which one it is and so on. So that is the first one, Lam al-Ta'rif. And then Lam al-Fi'l, which is Lam inside of a verb. And Lam al-Amr, Lam in an order, like an order means like, you order somebody to do something or something like that, right? So Lam in a noun, Lam al-Ism, Lam al-Harf, Lam in a participle. Okay, participle is another type of, so you have nouns, you have verbs, and you have participles. Okay, so al-ism, al-fi'l, and al-harf. Those are the 3 types of words in Arabic. So we're, touching upon a little bit of Arabic as well. So the lams that are covered in the Quran are these four types: lam al-sakina. So lam al-ta'rif, lam al-fi'l, lam al-amr, lam al-ism, and lam al-harf. Okay. So we'll cover what the different rules are. So lam of the definite article, the lam al-ta'rif, is an extra lam sakina added to the basic makeup of the word. This noun is preceded by hamzatul wasl. So you have like a, in the case of al-qamar, you have alif lam. You have your hamza and lam. So that's called hamzatul wasl, and then you have lam. So it becomes al-qamar instead of just qamar. Qamar is the moon, and you have al-qamar, the moon. Okay, and then you have shams, which is sun, and ash-shams means the sun. Okay. So you have the hamzatul and the lam that is preceded in that. Okay. So you can see from in the writing as well in the book here, it shows you, ash-shams wal qamar. If you can see where my cursor is, right? Ash-shams wal qamar. So it's just added alif and hamzatul wasl and lam. Okay. It looks like an alif, but it's called hamzatul wasl. Okay. This noun is preceded by hamzatul wasl that is read with a fatha when starting a word. Okay, the noun that follows the definite article alif lam may be a regular noun that stands on its own without the definite article, such as shams or ash-shams wal qamar, or it may be an irregular that it cannot be broken down further from the alif lam, such as alladhi or alladina or allati, things like that. They cannot stand on their own, but they have to have the al already connected to them. Okay, and then the alif lam can precede a noun beginning with any of the Arabic letters. Okay, so that is the definition of lam al-ta'rif. So there are two types of rules for lam al-ta'rif. You can have al-idhar and al-idgham. And if you remember from previous lessons, idhar just means you pronounce it clearly. Idgham means you merge them together. Okay, so let's see how they are in our examples here. So if lam al-ta'rif precedes a noun beginning with any of the 14 letters in the group, abghi hajjaka waqaf aqima. Abghi hajjaka waqaf aqima. So something that you can remember easily. So they've formed it into like a sentence, like a what do you call it? Like a phrase. Okay. So if you repeat it a few times, you'll remember abghi hajjaka wa khaf aqima. Okay. So this thing is basically comprised of alif, ba, ghain, ha, jim, kaf, waw, ha, fa, ain, qaf, ya, mim, ha. Okay. So all of these are called, the letters of lam al-qamariyya. Okay. So what it means is that you have to pronounce the lam without, clearly. You have to pronounce the lam clearly. If the lam al-ta'rif comes before a word that starts with any of these guys, any of these letters. So for example, this one here, al-haq. So ha is one of the letters in this list. Okay, this is a list of all the letters. So ha is one of the letters. Okay, so you have to pronounce the lam because it's called lam al-qamariyya or idhar qamari. So I mean, this is just to describe a very commonly used rule, right? So for example, you have al-kitab, al-masjid, al-hajj, al-haq. Those things you have to pronounce the lam. Okay, you cannot just merge them, right? Because there is no way to merge them, right? How are you going to say al-haq without pronouncing the lam or merging the lam with the next letter? You can't merge the lam with the ha. You can't say al-haq. You cannot do that. You have to pronounce al-haq. Okay, same thing with al, and you have to pronounce the al-kitab, al-qiyama. Now, and these are called lam al-qamariyas because al-qamar is pronounced the way these guys are pronounced as well. Qaf is one of the letters, right? So al-qamar, from al-qamar, this thing gets its name. It's called lam qamariya or lam al-qamariya. Okay, and then the next rule is idgham. Okay, idhar, you pronounce it clearly. Idgham, you merge it together. So you have lam al-ta'rif precedes any of the 14 remaining letters of the Arabic alphabet. There is then an merging of the lam of the definite article into the next letter. As we know, when there is an idgham, the two letters merge into one, and then the letter that the two merge into acquires a shadda. And in this case, the letter immediately following the lam has a shadda on it. So, for example, when you say ash-shams, so you're just adding alif lam, but you're not pronouncing or hamzatul wasl and lam, but you're not pronouncing the lam. But because of the al, you have to put a shadda on the sheen, so it becomes ash-shams. You cannot say ashams, and you cannot say al-shams. They're both wrong. Al-shams is wrong. Ashams is wrong. It has to be ash-shams. You have to put the shadda on the sheen. And the same thing in the rest of the examples, which is as-salah, al-rasul, al-latif, al-tayyib. So all of these, they have the al in front of it, but you notice in none of these you pronounce the lam, and in all of these you have the shadda in the following letter right after the lam. Okay, so this is just by the rule that we have, which is called the idgham rule for all of lam ash-shamsiyya, lam shamsiyya. Okay, and again this gets its name ash-shamsiyya because ash-shams it works the same way as opposed to al-qamar. Okay, so these are the two rules that have to do with the lam al-ta'rif. Okay, the name of Allah has lam al-ta'rif on it. This noun cannot be further broken down, though. The original noun without the definite article was ilah, and when the alif lam was added, the hamzatul wasl, the hamza was dropped, and the lam of the definite article merged into the lam of the noun, so the honored word became Allah. And the lam in this case is lam ash-shamsiyya. So this is one of the opinions of the scholars, that it was ilah, and when you add alif lam, it becomes Allah. Al-ilah becomes Allah. But this is just one of the opinions. There are other opinions that Allah by itself is not, made from the word ilah. It's the word by itself. Okay. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Allah knows best. Okay. So the next one, we have lam al-fi'l, wa lam al-amr, wa lam al-ism, wa lam al-harf. So we have these all bunched together into one. So you had lam al-ta'rif first, which was the alif lam, and then now you have all of these other ones bunched together because they have the same rules. So lam al-fi'l, wa lam al-amr, wa lam al-ism, wa lam al-harf. So lam al-fi'l has to do with the verbs. Amr is the order, like do this or eat this or go there or something like that. So in the form of an order. Lam al-ism is a noun, lam that occurs inside nouns, and lam al-harf, and lam al-harf is basically the lam that occurs inside participles. Okay, the little two-letter words and things like that, right? So we'll see examples of all of those. So lamat as-sakinat can occur in verbs, in af'al, and in nouns, asma, and in participles, huruf. The general rule is izhar, where if a lam as-sakina is at the end of a verb or particle or participle, when the first letter of the following word is a ra or lam, then the required rule is idgham. Then there are no cases of lam as-sakina at the end of a noun ism. Okay. So at the end of a noun, there is no lam as-sakina, but in the end of a verb or a participle, if there is, it's usually, idhar. So you have to pronounce the lam, except for when the next word after that is starting with a lam or a ra. Okay, in those cases, you will have to use idgham, and we will see examples of that really quickly, inshallah. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing any of you. You are understanding exactly what I'm talking about here, because we have the examples in front of us, right? So the definition of harf in grammar is a word that points out the meaning of another different word. This is kind of like, it's a small word, like for example, hal and bal and so on, right? So they are just a small words, and they are, they're called harf. They're not a complete noun, or they're not a verb. Okay, it's not an action indicated by that, right? So this is a grammatical term and different from the Arabic word harf, which means letter. So harf is used for participle in terms of grammar, but it also means letter, like alif, ba, ta, tha. Those are letters, or you can say huruf or harf. The only huruf that have lam as-sakina are al, hal, and bal. Those are the only two huruf that have the lam sakina, so the rule only applies to them. Okay. So in the case of the examples for these, you have idhar examples. So وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. So يَتَوَكَّل, you have lam as-sakina there with the, يَتَوَكَّل, the lam doesn't have a haraka on it. So here you have to pronounce the lam, and you have to say يَتَوَكَّل followed by عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. وَمَن يَتَوَكَّل عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. And whoever relies on Allah, He is sufficient for them. Okay. So here, this next word is lam. There is a lam that has a sukoon on it, or a lam that doesn't have a haraka on it. يَلْتَقِطْ. يَلْتَقِطْ. So this lam you have to pronounce. You have to pronounce properly using idhar. So, and then here you have قُلْ هَلُمَّ. قُلْ هَلُمَّ. Or in the case of, we've been reading قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, or قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, and so on. So you have to pronounce those lam. Okay. So those were the idhar examples. Now we come to the idgham examples. So same word قُل, but because it's followed by a ra, you have to say قُر. قُر رَبِّي أَعْلَمْ. قُر رَبِّي أَعْلَمْ. You cannot say قُل رَبِّي. You have to say قُر رَبِّي, because there is idgham. You have to merge the two, the lam and ra, and then it becomes ra ash-shadda. Ra with the shadda. Okay. قُر رَبِّي أَعْلَمْ. And then you have أَلَمْ أَقُلْ لَكُمْ. So you have أَقُلْ لَكُمْ, because they are followed by a lam. You have to merge them together, and then you have to put a shadda on the following lam. أَقُلْ لَكُمْ. قُلْ رَبِّي أَعْلَمْ. أَلَمْ أَقُلْ لَكُمْ. And then you have هَلْ لَكُمْ. هَلْ لَكُمْ. So you merge them together. بَرْ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ. So بَرْ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ. Here you're doing the idgham as well. You don't pronounce the lam, you just do بَرْ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ. You join the ba with the ra and put a shadda on the ra. بَرْ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ. Okay, there is a note here. There's no place in the Quran where hal is followed by ra. Okay, there is no place in the Quran where hal is followed by ra. So there is no har, idgham. But that's just because there is no word in the Quran. But in Arabic, there, you can have a sentence where you have hal followed by a ra, but not in the Quran. So this rule is only for these other items, and they're not for hal, Okay, and also there is an exception to this idgham rule in Surah المطففين, verse number 14, you have كلا بل ران على قلوبهم. So you cannot say bar rana, you cannot say bar rana, because even though it's followed by a ra, the lam sakin is followed by a ra, but you cannot say bar rana because of the sakta. You have to pause here. Okay, you have كلا بل ران على قلوبهم. So once you pause, you have to pronounce the lam. You have to do idhar. Since there is sakata between the two words, bal rana, the sakata is a stop without taking a breath for a period of time less than that of a normal stop. So that's basically the rules. I mean, there's a bunch of rules here, but it's basically just izhar and idgham, and you just have to remember that you know, in lam at-ta'rif, where you have alif lam, you basically have just the lam al-qamari and lam al-shamsiyya, and they, for the most part, they're very intuitive. You don't really have to remember a whole bunch. Once you get used to it, you know, you will have to say, okay, as-salah and ar-rasul and al-latif and at-tayyib. You cannot say al-salah or al-rasul or al-latif or al-tayyib. You cannot say al-tayyib. You have to say at-tayyib, as-salah and ar-rasul and al-latif, just because that's the only way to pronounce them. You cannot pronounce them any other way. Same thing with the idhar. You have to say al-haq. There is no way to pronounce them with the idgham. You cannot say al-haq. You cannot say al-ard. You cannot join the. There's just no way. I cannot think of a way to pronounce it with idgham without the lam. Right. So you will have to. You know, you have no other choice. You have to pronounce the lam. So if it makes sense, it will be like al-haq, al-ard, al-kitab, al-qiyama, and this is the list of all the letters that have al-izhar, and all the rest of them will have al-idgham. Okay, hopefully that's clear. And lam al-fi'l, wal-amr, wal-ism, wal-harf, you have the same izhar and idgham rules. And but then it's not alif lam, it's lam as-sakina appearing in a verb, in a noun, or in a harf, and the only thing is it's going to be izhar all the time, except when you are following that, you have a word that follows lam as-sakina that has that starts with lam or ra. Those are the only two times that you will have idgham. And then this is the only exception in the Quran. كَلَّا بَلْ رَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ. Okay, so hopefully that is understood. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and read from the Quran. We'll do some practice. Okay. If you have questions, this is the time to ask them. Okay, and okay, so since there are no questions, we'll jump right into reading of the Quran. Okay, so we did قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ in the previous sessions. So we have about half an hour. So what we can do is we can revise قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, and we can do قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٍ, and if we have time, we will do تَبَّتْ يَدَا أَبِي لَهَبٍ وَتَبَّ. But I want you guys to read them slowly and you know, pronounce each of the rules that you have mastered so far. You keep practicing. So we will start with قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and read قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ for you first, and then I'll have each one of you recite it after that. Okay, we'll take turns. So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. Okay, so you notice the gunna, you have an-nas, right? We also covered the lam, so you have to pronounce the lam. Qul. There's no other rules from the ones that we covered so far. You have lam and the gunna. Okay, those are the only rules that we've covered so far. So Kamran, you can go ahead and read it if you are able. If you have the microphone with you, I mean. I just unmuted you. I think you're logged in twice. Maybe I'll unmute both of your. Go ahead and try it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear an echo. Are you logged in twice?
Well, the reason is that the mic is not working on my computer. So I'm on the iPhone as well as computer.
Okay, so what you want to do is on the computer, you have to mute everything. You have to turn off the volume.
Okay.
Okay, just turn the speaker off. On the.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, good. So go ahead and read Qul A'udhu Birabbil. Start with A'udhu Billah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Very good. Jazakallah khair. Okay. So go ahead and go to the next person. This is Faz. Go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Very good. Jazakallah. You have anybody else there that wants to read?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Shabash. Next person. We have somebody else there?
Yes, me, Muhammad.
Okay. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Shabash. Anybody else?
No.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Okay, Tahir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Very good. So as you notice, you guys are reading slowly, mashallah. So when you read slowly, you have a much better chance to pronounce everything properly according to the rules that we're learning, alhamdulillah. So good job. We'll go to the next surah, which is قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. So I'll recite first, and then I'll give you guys a chance to recite. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. So here we noticed a few rules. We have the lam, the qul, you have to pronounce the lam. Also here, birabbil falaq, you have to pronounce the lam. And here we didn't take this rule yet, but when you stop at falaq, you have to say falaq. So you have to use what is called qalqala. And so you cannot say falaq, but you have to say falaq. So you hear the last ta at the end, right? So that's the qalqala. You have to pronounce it. It's a small qalqala here. And then you have min sharri. So there is ikhfa. You have to make ghunna here. Min sharri ma khalaq. So again there is a qalqala here. Khalaq. Wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab. So you have ikhfa here. So you have to make ghunna. Wa min sharri. Then you have idhar here, so you cannot make gunna. So you say ghasiqin instead of ghasiqin. You cannot do that. You have to do ghasiqin idha waqab. On the ba, you have to do the qalqala again. So you have to say waqab. You cannot say waqab. You have to say waqab. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. So you have to do gunna here because of ikhfa, وَمِن, and then you have an-naffathati, so you have a gunna here, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. So you have to do qalqala here at the dal to say uqad. Okay, وَمِن شَرِّ, so you have another ikhfa here, so you have to do gunna. حَاسِدٍ, there is no gunna here, you have to do idhar because of the hamza. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, and at the end you have to do another qalqala. So I know we haven't taken qalqala, but just take my word for it. Inshallah we'll cover it in the next few sessions. When we get to the end of the book, I think towards the end of the first book, there is qalqala is covered. So inshallah we'll cover it, but here you just have to know that you pronounce this al-falaq, khalaq, and waqab, and uqad, and hasad. So it's a small qalqala, it's not a huge one, but still you have to do it. Okay, so first one, Kamran, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I think I unmuted the wrong. Okay, here, go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
ومن شر
Very good. So now, Faiz, go ahead, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
Very good. Go ahead.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر خلق ومن شر وسواس إذا وقب.
No, start over. Start from the beginning. قل أعوذ برب الفلق. Go ahead.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
Pronounce the ha. ومن شر حاسد.
Ha.
Okay, go ahead. Next one.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
Jazakallah khair. When you guys pronounce قل أعوذ برب الفلق, you don't have to prolong the برب الفلق. You don't do that. Just do قل أعوذ برب الفلق. Okay. Just a note. Jazakallah khair. Tahir, go ahead please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
Jazakallah khair. So we'll go to the next surah, but let me ask you guys, you guys have been memorizing this or are you reading it? So basically my goal is to make sure that you guys memorize the last 10 surahs at least, along with Surah Fatiha. So just make sure you are memorizing this as well. And the way to do that is basically make sure you pronounce everything first, correctly first of all. And I encourage you, as before, to listen to Abdullah Basfar or somebody like that, recording of Abdullah Basfar, or somebody like here.
ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
You have another one, Sa'ad al-Ghamidi, I think.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
Yeah, so listen to the reciters, either Sa'ad al-Ghamidi or Abdullah Basfar. Those are easier to follow along because they read slowly and pronounce everything properly. So first you get your pronunciation right, and then what you do is you repeat each verse many times in order for you to memorize. These are small surahs, and you probably already are familiar with them. You already memorized them as a kid, so you probably already know. But when you go to more bigger surahs or surahs that you haven't memorized before, so you have to repeat them. A few times, like maybe 10 times. For some surahs, for some ayahs or some verses, you may have to pronounce, repeat them 20 times or 15 times, 20 times, 25 times in order for you to commit to memory. So when you do that in a repetitious fashion, you will memorize them. Inshallah, the next level up is to understand what it means, right? So inshallah, we will start doing some of that. Soon, once we get some of these rules under our belt and we start memorizing some of these small surahs, and inshallah we will cover, start to cover some of the basic Arabic, so you can start to understand some of those rules. And I had mentioned, I think I posted the Arabic grammar thing. This is one of the ones that you can use to learn Quranic Arabic. This is from YouTube. I posted a link to our Facebook page as well, I think. So you can actually start on your own learning some of the basic Arabic grammar. But inshallah, I'll cover, I'll cover the vocabulary. I will cover how these, how to start learning Arabic for the purpose of understanding the Quran, which is really, really important for us as Muslims. So inshallah we will do that, but I encourage you to explore some of these. I put it on Facebook already, on our Facebook page. So let me just show you. If I go here, yeah, so this is one. So here I posted the link, right? So you have the Quran Study Weekly class page on Facebook, if you guys use Facebook. And then you have the link to the Arabic grammar lesson here, as well as our class recordings are posted here, and some of the tafsir stuff. So it's good to follow along, and especially for our class, I encourage you to watch tafsir of the last juz, the last, starting with the last few surahs. So tafsir of the Surah An-Nas that we studied, and then you will also have tafsir of Al-Falaq and Qul Huwallahu Ahad and all of the other surahs. So it's very easy to understand in English, and it is very important for us to understand where it's coming from, what the meanings are and stuff. So this is available for us. So I encourage you guys to explore this, and I'm posting these links on our Facebook page instead of emailing it to you, so it's easier for you to keep track of them instead of keep track of them in your emails. Okay. I didn't email it to you. I actually just posted it on the Facebook page. So if you don't have the Facebook page, I can just share it with you here. I emailed everybody the link to the Facebook page, so you can, because I don't have to email every week all the different resources and stuff like that. I can just post it on the Facebook page, so it's easier for you to communicate. Jazakallah khair. Okay, perfect. All right, so we still have a few minutes, so we'll do Qul Huwallahu Ahad. So I'll go ahead and start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Okay, so come on, go ahead and read قل هو الله أحد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
Say the first verse again. قل هو الله أحد.
قل هو الله أحد.
Good. Okay, Jazakumullah khair. All right, next one says.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
كفوا أحد.
كفوا أحد.
Good. Yeah, there's no gunna at the kufuwan. Okay, next one is Uzair, I think.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
Great. Next one. Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
Very good. Jazakallah khair. Tahir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد
الله الصمد.
الله الصمد.
No, you pronounce the lam with the like almost like a thick lam. Allah.
الله الصمد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
Great. Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, we'll cover more rules next time when we meet next class. And I think we have Ahkam al-Mudud. Mudud basically is the plural of al-Mad. Mad is when you elongate, like for example, in this case here, La a'budu ma ta'budun. So that lam is elongated. So you stretch it. So lam alif, the la a'budu. So we have many more examples in the Quran. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. And then the mudud have different lengths, like how long you need to pronounce them. So we'll cover those rules next week. And after the mudud, we have, let me see what else we have. And you guys have this PDF, this book, so I encourage you to take a look at the book and cover some of the, go over it and try to understand where you didn't understand, or if you have to go over a rule, read it again yourself. Also, if you have questions, write them down so the next class, when I'm in the class, you can ask those questions. Or you can post them on the Facebook page if you feel like that, and inshallah I'll go ahead and answer them. And I think after that we have the different letters. I have to read this chapter myself to see what this is talking about. how the letters are formed using your makharij. Okay, so you have al-qalqala is the last chapter, I believe, in this book. So we will cover that, and inshallah, after we've done this, we will go ahead and do a revision of all the rules that we've covered thus far. And inshallah, after that, we'll do a exam. So you guys will have like an exam to do online or something like that. I'll figure out how to give you that exam. And inshallah, once you finish that exam and you have passed, hopefully, then inshallah we'll go ahead and continue to the next part of the Tajweed class, which is using the next book, which is the Tajweed Rules of the Quran Part 2. And remember, there's 3 parts to it, so there's quite a few things that we have to cover. And inshallah, sometime around, at the end of the book or something like that, I will try and figure out a way to start including the Arabic language in so you guys have, you have the Tajweed rules, you have some of the surahs memorized already, and then you will also start to learn the Arabic language along with it. So I encourage you guys to watch the tafsir and the stuff that I've shared on the Facebook page, tafsir lectures for the Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Surah An-Nas and Surah Al-Falaq at least. And once we are past that, you can continue with Qul Huwallahu Ahad. And if you have time, spend some time on the videos for the Arabic language. Yeah, inshallah, I will go ahead, and I just don't want to overwhelm you guys, carry you away. So, but yeah, I'll sure go ahead and share the book 2 and book 3 as well. I'm pretty sure I have them. Okay, so inshallah we'll do that. Jazakumullah khairan. With that, we'll go ahead and end the class for today. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.